godfather of Anzac Day now.
Oh, don't mention that word, godfather.
Do you speak to players about how much this game means to them in terms of the significance of it?
Oh, look, I always think the coach can and should do that. Obviously, it's really an inspirational day. It's great to have the ceremony here, by the way, because it's the first time I've seen this happen at Essendon. And, of course, to bring and incorporate, obviously, the Defence Forces and the RSLs around the area and kids from the schools, I think that's going to grow. I think it's just an absolute fantastic idea. I think in the end, as I spoke about my own grandfather, it was always an honour to listen to him talk about things that happened. He didn't want to say too much, obviously. A lot of atrocities happen in war. But I think what's happened is that it's great to see Australian people really honouring and reflecting what has happened over not only Anzac Day and our Anzacs, but also every person in defence over the war zones that we've been in over many, many decades.
I know you've been very big in saying it's not about you, but on a personal note, is it nice to be back, considering you had such a big role in it for such a long time? I guess back in the 10 after a few years.
Oh, look, it's always great to be in footy and around the Bombers, and I always try to treat all the clubs the same. To be honest, when we're looking at icon games, this is an icon game. This is probably the biggest game. Well, it's the biggest game outside the grand final. There's no doubt about that. Because the whole of the nation want to come here. The tickets sell out quicker than grand final tickets. And out of respect to our Defence Forces, and not everybody there is necessarily an Essendon and Collingwood supporter, and it's great to see the other clubs really, looking at the way they can celebrate and commemorate Anzac Day.
With the 5 games and the day falling on a Saturday, do you feel that that number of games in any way overshadows this particular one? No,
look, I really don't. I think that it just is never going to lose its sort of shine. I don't think from that point of view. I think that eventually it might happen every now and then when it does happen on a Saturday, but that's great for the fans of their clubs. I think that you've got to have an open mind about that. Not just about we don't have the right at Essendon or Collingwood to really own Anzac Day totally, because the whole of Australia owns Anzac Day and the RSL and the Defence Forces. We only actually try and perhaps we're probably on the stage of making it happen for everybody to know more about what happened in our Defence Forces, what happened in Gallipoli, what happened after that, and when they went to the Western Front, and of course they were also fighting in the desert. And there's another detachment, in the history that a number of our forces went up to New Guinea in that war, because New Guinea was a colony of Germany. Not a lot of people know that.
And how great is it to see people here like Jack Jones, who served in the 24th Infantry Battalion, of course, play at the club?
We've got a number of players still alive that are here, and we really treasure them. And of course, when they come here, I say to the players, just love them for the life they've had, and they're still here with us. And Jack's a special person, obviously, but we've got another couple there that have been a part of the RSL, and obviously many, many years after the war, they're still alive, we're very lucky.
Can I just ask you about Bomber Thompson? Is it a touch sad that someone like that, a great of the club, feels like he's not really welcome back here?
No, Mark Thompson's always welcome at Essendon. Look, I would think that it's probably one of those sorts of annoyances that happen for a person, between a club and a person. We had seen it with Kevin Bartlett at one stage, but I think that will clear up. Mark's a smart man. He understands that he's just a bit annoyed at the moment, obviously, and eventually, and he's been a fantastic player and a coach for us, and eventually I've got no doubt that the Bombers and he will be pretty good friends for the rest of their life. There's no doubt about that. At the moment it doesn't look like that, but when you're annoyed, that's the way it sometimes happens. And I would think everybody out there that would have at some stage an annoyance in their life, that they probably look back and think, I wish I hadn't have done that, or I wish I could fix and mend this up a bit quicker. I think everyone's been in that position.
You coach him though to a premiership as captain as well. Does it take someone like you maybe to reach out and just maybe let him know that?
Well, there'll come a time when Mark and I will sit down, but I mean, it's his own personal life. He's I've just been up in Sydney for 6 years, so I haven't seen many of the Essendon people for the 8 years that I'd left nearly. So I think in the end, when we do catch up, it'll be a good meeting. Yeah, I only enjoy good meetings. I mean, as I often tell everybody, if you're in the last quarter of your life, you want to have a pretty good time.
And what's your match day involvement on Anzac Day, Sheeds?
I think I'll be up at 6 and I'll be out just about to every function that I've been asked to by the RSL and the organisations, and eventually get to the game. It's an Essendon home game, but there are a number of people that are friends of mine also that I want to connect with on that day, and in many ways just remember my grandfather and my uncles that went to war. And that's what I feel about it. It's quite simple. Keep it in your family as well.
Do you expect James Hird to make a stirring speech before the game? Did you make a similar sort of speech when you were addressing players?
There are times when you do, for different reasons. But look, Hird is a very different person than myself, and he'll work out how he feels the player group are, and I think that's and he's done well in that area. I mean, that to move through what they've been through the last couple of years, they've handled that very, very well. And I think he'll adjust what comments he needs to be making to them before the game or during the week. He's a very cool sort of person in many ways. He might be flapping underneath it with his legs like a duck underwater, but on top of it, he's pretty cool.
Do you think he's proven himself as a coach yet, that he can handle himself at senior level? He spent that year out, and there's a bit of feeling that he hasn't quite proven himself as a truly successful coach at this level?
No, well, I think most coaches don't feel that they're great coaches until they win a premiership. I think that's one of the things that's the difficulty of this game and any other sport where coaches are. But I mean, he's been in the finals. Okay, he was not allowed to coach in the finals. He's had a year off, so that'll put you mind to a lot of good thinking about what you want to do. He's a very intelligent sort of guy, so as a proven coach, no, he's got to get in the finals consistently and win a premiership, and that's when you prove to be a coach. And he understands that, he knows that. He's a person on big match. I mean, he's won 5 best and fairest. He's won 3 Anzac medals, and in grand finals he's won the best in the ground. He's won most of everything in footy. So his next step is to probably take the Bombers up to a chance for a premiership, get them within a shot of a top 4 position, and then go for it. Now, that's his determination. He will be like that mentally. I mean, he's just that type of person. He doesn't like necessarily losing, and he'd like to make sure he could get the Bombers in the finals. I think most people feel that the way this team's got together and worked through it, they're off to a reasonably good start this year. They've got a big game coming up again, and then a follow up with another big one after that. So that's why he looks at it, so he doesn't want to waste his life.
I know it's early, but from what you've seen, is this a top 4 premiership side this year?
I think you'll gather that momentum as you keep seeing these boys perform. To win a premiership right now would be, look, they're a chance. They're a chance, actually, because to get up and play well against Hawthorn with no NAB Cup games hardly under their belt and get beaten by the other grand finalists in Swans by, I think it was about 10 points. So get within that, or those 2 clubs, and I know it's early in the season, 10 points and a kick, with no NAB Cup games is a damn good start. Thank you.